This is the Museum of Caesar Augustus, the Roman Emperor at the time of Christ, built in 28 BC. This is the Parthenon, built by the Roman Emperor Hadrian. Started in 118 AD, finished in 125 AD. Back part is a perfect semicircle. It's half a sphere, 140 feet tall, 140 feet wide. And this is now the entrance. In medieval times, this was made into a church, a Catholic church. We're panning around the inside of it. Pictures were certainly added in the Middle Ages. There's the entrance, halfway around now. Back to the altar.
The skylight's open and it's raining wonderful through it's open.
It was built with these hollows in there to reduce the weight of the dome. Oh, the sky. Place for light to come in with the skylight up here. This is the Senate building here. Seems to be a little difficulty. Across the street, this big protest against the senators. Why? He's ticked off. It's like disarmament. No disarmament. Here's yet another church. This is the column of Marcus Aurelius. He was a Roman emperor, Roman general, built after he died in 180 AD. But that St. Paul up there is replaced in the Middle Ages. This column was erected by Marcus Aurelius. This is the Trevi Fountain, built in 1762. Used to be the end of the aqueduct that water into Rome. It's Neptune, the goddess in the middle. And inside are two Tritons, one forcing controlling the sea monster. Well, this is the Colosseum. We're inside of it now. Held 55,000 spectators. I've read elsewhere it held 80,000. Built from 72 to 80 AD.
4万人の奴隷を使い、わずか8年で完成した。当時ローマ社会はパンとサーカスということで、これは市民の人気と理解成長を話し能力に加わったし、
We're up now at the middle level. In the bottom there is where the animals were kept. It was covered up years ago. We had elevators that brought the animals to the top. To the arena floor. The seats would have been right in this area here. And up there. Now at the far end of the oval. This is an oval shape. The trees off in the distance are called umbrella pine. Looking out now to the outside of the Colosseum. This is the Arch of Constantine, built by the Emperor Constantine in the year 315 AD. To celebrate his victory over his co-emperor. I'm outside the Colosseum. Here we see Arch of Constantine, and this looks over what's called the Forum, central part of Rome, the Roman Empire days. Far as you can see here are great buildings. The far end is called the capital area. We'll see that later.
Ciao Mario!
I'm now at the outside. And this is now the Forum, center of ancient Rome. It's Palatine Hill off in the distance. That's where Rome was founded. This is Basilica of Constantine, built in 315. Don't move. This is the biggest building in the Forum. Right next to that big basilica here is the Temple of Romulus. I don't know when it was built. And I'm not sure who it was dedicated to. Romulus is the founder, mythical founder of Rome. These doors here, original bronze doors. There's the Church of San Lorenzo, built inside of the temple of Augustinius, built in 141 AD. This is the Arch of Septimius Severus from 203 AD. We're in the central part of the Forum. And this place over here is where public speeches were given. And there was the Temple of Saturn. It was just a few years before Christ was born. That heads up to the Capitol area. These were now churches that were built in the Christian era. This is the Capitol Museum. These sculptures here, either side of this staircase, are from Roman times. Building in the background is the Capitoline Museum. Dorothy's favorite kind of sculpture. Oops. Standing now on Capitol Hill. Now this overlooks the Forum from the western end. Off in the distance there is the Colosseum. About half a mile away or more. Off of this there is Palatine Hill, where Rome was first settled. This is the rostra. I said before, it's where speeches were given, so now we're looking from the top part down. This is built just about the time that Julius Caesar was killed, assassinated, and Brutus, Cassius, and so on in 44. And this is where Mark Antony gave his speech, saying, I think friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears, have made famous in Shakespeare's story. There was the great basilica. And here now is the Temple of Saturn. Before I said it was built about the time of Christ, but you see it was actually built in 46 BC. This is the Temple of Vesta. It was perfectly circular. The temple, there would be virgins would keep a flame alive over here. There's the flame of the hearth, it was called. They spend 30 years of their life doing that. 10 years learning, 10 years doing it, 10 years teaching. Had to remain virgins. And if they strayed and no longer were virgins, they were buried alive. And the men were whipped to death. And here it is from the side view. Another temple off to the right. We're now on Palatine Hill, where Rome was founded. It's a nice fountain here.
Seriously, dude. It's an animal, dude. It's alive.
With moss.
It's a mammoth. It's so serene right now.
We're now on Palatine Hill, an area that was the first place the Rome was settled. These are all the ruins at the top of the Palatine. This is now what archaeologists feel is the original site of the Roman settlement in the Iron Age days. Because 1940s they found traces of original settlements here. The stones have been from a later age. Now I'm on top of the Palatine Hill, overlooking the Capitol area there and the Forum. Off and far left over here, the hill where in ancient times used to throw traders off the walls there to their death. Moving now from west to east. Now on the main corridor of the Forum. It's a major basilica. Church in medieval times. And then off to the Forum. That is the Colosseum. In the distance, about 30 miles from here. This is now the stadium on top of Palatine Hill, here near the palace where the emperors lived. It's about 400 feet long, I'm guessing. It's part of the upper part of the stadium there. There'll be an archway along the side, either side of the stadium here. Here they've reconstructed part of one. Palace is beyond that wall there. We're now outside of Rome, about 35 miles or so, the famous garden Villa dell'Este. Now, outside the villa, overlooking the gardens. The villa was owned by a cardinal in the 1600s and developed into this garden. All moss in here. Ah, there's an idea for my water garden. All moss covered plants. This is not a bad place. Almost as good as mine.
Yeah, that in no time.
So now I'm looking at the lower garden. A little different view of the area called 100 Fountains. All beautiful moss up there. And each of the fountains as we're facing. At the very lower part there of the central garden. Here's yet another garden. In the same courtyard where a big waterfall is, this is a smaller one. This is better than Tommy Bartlett. Lower level now. Just looking from the center of the lower court, a lower water garden up to the top at the villa. Coming down either side is a water course. At the end, a little gargoyle. This place never ends. We have twin mounds here.
We washed plenty. My feet said so.
You're always complaining about her feet.
That's
She-
right.
she
She's trying to
shouldn't,
kill me.
shouldn't have been talking while I'm filming here.
Trying to kill me.
And at the end of the garden, looking up towards the waterfall. Followed by a group of noisy Italians. We're now inside the Vatican Museum. On our way to the Sistine Chapel. Getting ready now to see the Sistine Chapel.
Dando semplicemente un vistazo, camminando
Actually, we're a long ways away yet from Sistine Chapel. We're inside what I call the room of the bust now. There are many, many rooms in this museum. Just the ceiling. We're now in the round room, or the rotunda. 10, 12-foot high statue here. These are all from the Roman period. Next floor up. What a beautiful museum. You can see the says Pope Leo XIII. collection of Pope Leo XIII. And now we're inside the tapestry room. Much darker. The walls are covered with tapestry. This is the room of maps. Down on the ceiling. Probably about 250, 300 feet long. Great ceiling. One of the side walls of this gallery are all ancient maps.
Beautiful gold and stuff up here.
This is the Sistine Chapel. Right in here. That's the ceiling. Done with Michelangelo from 1508 to 1512. It's probably 80 or 100 feet long.
So that's someone else in our room.
Now this is the end of the
Patience. Should have
It's all the end wall. This is a long wall now. It's the other end. And this is the last wall. Back to the beginning. This room now is called the Library Gallery. Beautiful ceiling. It's another room next door to the library gallery. Ceiling. And next to that room is this room. Another room, all still part of the library. The next room. Dorothy likes this, whatever it is, a desk perhaps. And the next room. Still part of the library. We come to a junction here. It's a magnificent view down the middle corridor. And parallel to that, about 30 feet away, is another aisle. This place never ends. Another room. Another ceiling. This room is called the Hall of Constantine. Constantine was the Roman emperor. It's Christianity. The painter Raphael had done 4 rooms. Via the spiral staircase. Well, here I am finally last at St. Peter's Square. St. Peter's Basilica for the 1600s. And this is on the right side. Behind there, then is the Vatican Museum tour in this morning. This is Castel San Angelo, built in 130 AD, originally as King Hadrian, Emperor Hadrian's mausoleum, but it has had many rules since then. It's only about a half-mile away from the Vatican, and the Pope during political difficult times would have lived here. This is the Appia Antica, or in English, the Appian Way. It was the original Roman road leading south out of Rome to the southern part of Italy. And very far into the distance, these original stones from a couple thousand years ago, made out of basalt rock, very durable rock. Along this way there were many tombs. This is the remainder of one. Tombs of rich people and emperors. A little farther up the road, another tomb. Right off the Appian Way, there are several villas, and this is one. Private homes. Through gated entrance here.